Hi, my name's Sarita, and if you were able to view my previous video, you know that I am an American expat living in the city of Berlin. I had planned on posting way more content, but this is a new year and a new me, and I'm going to be posting way more videos here about some of the same content that I talk about on my blog on WordPress. So my blog is titled Black Coffee in the City. Super easy. You just type blackcoffeeinthecity.wordpress.com and you'll be able to see some of my blog content that I've been doing throughout the year. If you have come across my blog before, you know that I like to write a lot about dating and relationships. They say those who can't do teach, and so for those of us who have horrible dating experiences, we write about them. I don't write about just my own personal experiences. I love to have conversations with people, whether it's at work, it's at a bar, or it's with a group of girlfriends. And then that content is built from experiences from people from all over the world, all over the EU, from the US, South America. So same for you. If you're watching this or if you read any of my blog posts, I'd love to hear your feedback about your own personal experiences. That is, if you're living in the city of Berlin. But even if you're not, feel free to comment, and sometimes that could spark content for a future blog post. So I asked some of my friends, what should my first follow-up video be about? They said the dating culture in Berlin. So I come from the US, where if you go out to a bar, a cafe, if you're walking on the street, someone thinks that you're attractive, they go up to you and they say something. Maybe they have a cheesy pickup line, or they say, hey, don't I know you from somewhere? That one's my favorite because you can get out of that one super easily. Oh, okay, it's not you. Well, how are you doing today? What's your name? So even if you're not interested, or maybe you haven't even seen them coming towards you from across the room, people will still approach you and start a conversation. It's a way more sociable dating culture. In Berlin, I have not found that to be the case. When I first got here, I was super confident about going up to guys and saying that they were cute and starting a conversation with them. But then I looked around and I realized that no one is really going up to each other. People just sort of stay in their own groups, and maybe they look and chat about someone with their friends, but they never actually make a move. So I have noticed, and a lot of my friends say the same thing, staring is a big issue here. I can't say if men have the same problem, but for women, if you're on the train, men will stare not just for 5 seconds, but for 5 stops. They will stare at you from across the aisle, and you don't know why. You can't say it's that they're attracted to you, but either way, staring for that long amount of time without saying something can come off a bit creepy. I went out to a bar one night where my friend was bartending, and I had a guy sitting across from me who stared at me for a good 30 minutes on and off. And he got up to go to the bathroom, and I thought, okay, now he's going to say something to me. He did it. He walked right past me, came back from the bathroom, and went back to his seat. And I thought, okay, maybe it's in my head. So I asked my friend, hey, have you noticed that guy staring at me? And she's like, yeah, he's been staring at you the entire night. So she went up to him and said, it's okay to say something to her. And the guy's like, no, I wasn't staring. I just like to stare off into space sometimes. And I was like, that wasn't that great of a recovery. You got caught. Just say, hey, I got caught staring, and say something. It's totally fine if you approach a woman that you think is attractive. We're not going to bite your heads off, usually. And they'll probably appreciate it if you go up to them and give them a nice compliment or say that you like something about them. Just don't stare for an extended period of time without saying something. I don't know if women are super interested in going up to guys, maybe they also feel insecure about it. So just take charge and go up to them and say, hey, how are you? I like your hair color, or I like your dress, or don't say anything sexual. That's one thing. Just leave that part out. It doesn't have to be offensive or about their body parts. Just say something nice about their clothes. So in the case that you do go up to someone and you do start dating them, Let's also try to be honest about what it is that you're looking for. It's totally fine. We live in a city where I feel like anything goes. But if you're not looking for something serious, be upfront about it. Just tell the person right away, hey, I really like spending time with you, but I'm not looking for a relationship. Instead of acting as if you're in a relationship, and then once they start to think that you're in a relationship, you pretend like you're confused. You go out on romantic dates, you're holding hands, you're spending every free evening together, and eventually people are going to start growing attachments. If you're upfront about it, then at least you told them what it is that you're looking for, and it's on them if they decide that that's not for them. But just be upfront instead of leading women on, and it's the same for women. I'm not saying that we are perfect by any means. I'm just saying that this is some of the feedback that I get from my friends who go out on dates, whether they meet on a dating app, if they meet through friends, if they just happen to meet in a public space. It's the same thing. Guys want to spend time with you. They want to do everything that makes it look like a relationship, but then a couple of weeks down the road, you're surprised to find out that that's not actually what they want. And so let's say that you are with someone, maybe things aren't working out, they just aren't quite what you're looking for, or the relationship's getting too serious for you. Don't ghost them. Ghosting is basically disappearing into thin air. One day you're there, one day you're not. If you are of a certain age, I feel like you should be able to have a conversation with someone and say, listen, this isn't working for me. I think that maybe we should take some space, or we should go our separate ways. Don't say that you're going to meet up with them to go out on a date and then don't show up and don't respond to any of their text messages or phone calls. That's not the right way to handle things. We are all adults. Hopefully, if you're watching this video and you're having these sort of dating issues, you're an adult. You should be able to just have a conversation with someone, and the person should be able to receive the feedback that you give them. I think that they would also appreciate that way more than being stood up or being ignored. I always like to think, if I don't want this to happen to me, then I shouldn't do it to other people. So just think about that next time you are out in the world, interacting with people, going on these dates. Just think, hey, would I appreciate this if it's done to me? If not, then probably just don't do it. So these aren't, obviously, it's not a generalization. Not every situation and not every person is the same. This is just a general consensus of feedback that I've gotten from speaking with people from all over the world who seem to have a lot of the same issues when they're trying to meet people and go on dates. So first things first, don't stare for extended periods of time. If you think someone's attractive, just go up to them and say something. They say that you miss 100% of the chances you don't take. So if it doesn't work out, hey, these people don't know you, it's nothing personal, just move on. Then, once you do start talking to someone, we would appreciate it if you're upfront about what it is that you're looking for or what it is that you want. It may also change, so just check in with the person and make sure that you guys are on the same page. And in the case that you're not, don't ghost them. Just send a text, meet up for coffee and say, hey, this isn't working for me. Let's just shake hands and move on. So, of course, I am not an expert. You have every right to say none of this stuff is accurate. Maybe you've had completely different experiences. I'm going to bet that some of this resonates with you. But if not, feel free to comment. Check back on blackcoffeeinthecity.wordpress.com for new blog posts. You can comment there. You can comment here. And I'd love to hear your feedback because it definitely helps me with future content. So I appreciate you watching this video and look forward to interacting with you again soon.